Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
I'm doing awesome, Aubrey. How's it going?
Wonderful. I'm great. I have a question for you.
Okay, I'm
This is
ready.
related to an amazing question we got from a listener. Would you ever say, I missed you, man? I missed you, man, to a male friend?
Um, there's only one male friend I might say that to, but I probably wouldn't say it in those exact words.
You
So
say it a different
today,
way, right?
yeah, I might
Mhm.
use man with him, a very close male friend, in certain moments, but that's exactly what we're going to get into today. It
Yes.
does feel very familiar when I
Yes,
say
it feels very familiar. And this is interesting because I do feel like gender comes into play a little bit, but
Mhm.
also just specific personalities, right? I feel like
Yes.
this would be an interesting question to ask lots of different people, and you might get a different answer from each of
Even
them.
o even on our team, I bet we could survey our team and we
Absolutely.
might have, like, a breakdown of all
Yeah, I
different
feel like Jessica
level.
would say this for sure.
Right,
She might say this
right,
to everybody she
certain
knows.
right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So it really is a person we're this is gonna be a great episode today. I am so excited for this. So first, guys, hit follow because this is the kind of topic that we explore. How can you use English to express your true personality? Right, Aubrey?
Absolutely. Yes, we have 4 episodes every week. They're amazing. Soon 5, little
Soon
sneak
5.
peek of what's
Yeah.
coming in the future, so be sure to hit follow, guys.
That's right. Starting in early March, you guys will have a bonus episode on Saturdays. So you can get your dosing of all ears English on the weekend
Yes,
as well.
love it. Awesome.
All
All
right.
right, let's read this
So,
question. Do you wanna start us out,
yeah,
Lindsay?
sure. Here we go. I'm Ahi, a Korean listener, but listening from Japan. Love what you're doing there. Your motto, connection, not perfection, changed how I view myself when I speak or use English. It's way more fun. Oh, I love it.
I
Aubrey,
love that
that
so
warms
much.
our hearts.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Since I've never lived in any English speaking country, I would like to ask you a somewhat cultural question. I watch movies and dramas in English and pick up words and phrases, but I'm not sure if they're inappropriate for me to use or not.
So I
Aubrey, you want
love
to
that this
continue the
listener
question?
is
Mhm.
taking in so much natural English, right? Watching
Love it.
movies, dramas, and hearing phrases and wondering like, "Okay, can I say that?"
It's
Hmm,
amazing. Yeah. And so what
interesting.
else? What did the student ask next?
Yeah, so then they said, when it comes to "Hey man" or "Hey pal," I see most of the time guys say it to other guys. I'm a girl, but I really like the connection they have when they say it. Is it just between guys, or can girls use it when speaking to guys too? Also, does it sound too young or hip if you use it above a certain age? I think this too as well. When I'm thinking about like slang, I let
Yeah.
you and I are on the same page here. I thinking about language, and am I too old to say this?
Right.
And then she
Right. Right.
continues, usually I would just say, "Hi guys," but
Uh
sometimes
huh.
when I'm with my male friends who I totally feel comfortable with, I feel like "I missed you guys" is not reflecting what I feel, but "I missed you, man" just feels right. Are these
Interesting.
two phrases the same thing? I mean, does it feel the same to you as a native English speaker? I am so excited to hear from you. What a great question.
Wow. We are so excited to answer this. And hopefully, we come out with more answers than questions today. We may come out with more kind of things to think about and
Absolutely.
curiosities, I think, today.
That's how I felt sort of planning the episode and thinking about it. I did. I'm like, I want to ask everyone I know how they would answer
Yeah.
this question. I'm going to start listening to
Yeah.
what people say.
Yeah. So let's get into it, Aubrey. Where should we start? We're going to get our listener an answer today. Where do we start with
Yeah.
this
So, first, we
question?
want to point out that these are both extremely familiar. This is something that we say to close friends, right? I missed you
Yeah.
guys to a group. And then I
Hmm.
missed you, man, would be to
Hmm.
an individual. And then we want
Hmm.
to kind of dive into these specific questions like, can a girl say it to a close buddy, to a close male friend? I would
Right.
not say this to another girl. I missed you, man. It's interesting because
Yeah.
guy or guys, yeah, we use this for any gender, but that word man is specific to a male friend.
Right. So maybe we'll get the easy ones out of the way with talking to a group first, right?
Yes,
And then we'll get into the individual stuff, which gets a little more, yeah, nuanced. Let's just say this
exactly.
is very nuanced
There is a
today.
lot of nuance because, like we said, different people will have different opinions. We
Yeah.
do want to consider a person's gender identity, or if they're non binary, we don't want to give offense. And so there's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into thinking about how to address a person.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot here. So when we're talking to a group, so I missed you guys. Now, I think there is a movement around getting away from guys. On this show, we do address our audience as hey guys, right? We say this in a very friendly and respectful way.
Yes. And that's
If
how
you're
I grew up with the word
Mhm.
guys was very gender neutral. I'm not thinking
Yes.
of, I'm just
Right.
thinking of a group of people. And that's how I grew
Mhm.
up saying guys. It
Right.
didn't mean, it was very um, unrelated to gender.
Right, exactly. And I think that's fine. I have a friend who's non-binary, and once I asked them if like how they feel when someone addresses them and if they're in a group and the word "hey guys" is used to them, and they said it is somewhat offensive. So when I'm around that person or just in general, I try to kind of use other things like "hi y'all." I think "y'all" is coming back into style now, or
Yeah,
"hi
I think
all,"
you could
or
definitely say, "I
"you
miss you
all."
all" to a group,
Mhm.
definitely, because you might not know, if someone in the group isn't you might not know everyone there really
Yeah,
well, so you
yeah.
can say, "I missed you all," or just, "I missed everyone." These are always going to be safe options,
"Hi
but, like, I'm glad
everyone."
you brought that
Mhm.
up, Lindsay, because we say, "You guys," how are you guys to our
Mhm.
team, to the listeners, so apologies if we've offended anyone, I hope you know
Yeah.
this is very
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
thinking of gender. We grew up thinking of this as such
Yeah.
a neutral word.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this on the show before, so this is not really what we're getting into as much today, but just as other options, "hi folks" is something that I hear people say when they're
Yes.
trying to be very, very conscious of gender norms. "Hi folks," and there was another one. I don't
I
know.
love
So
"Hi,
there's
everyone." "Hey, everyone. Hi, everyone."
everyone,
I
hey
probably use
everyone.
that the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah, for sure. So you're gonna hear it from us. Hi guys. It is okay. Maybe over the next few years it's gonna phase out. We will see. We will see. But just be aware that there may be some things going on there with the use of that word. Right, Aubrey? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
hmm Yeah. What else?
So we are going to also share what you would say to an individual, and this is where we're really going to get into the nuance of who
Yes.
can say what to whom, what's
Yeah.
acceptable, and what should you not stress about, but how,
Yeah.
what different people would answer
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a minute here. Okay, Aubrey, this is the meat of the episode. This was really the point of the episode today. Let's get into this. So, when you're talking to an individual, our listener asked, as a woman, can she say, hey, man,
Yeah,
right?
or "I missed you, man," because this is
hmm
what's interesting is, "Hey, man," that's, kind of familiar, but I'm not that but to tell someone you missed them is even more familiar. This is really you don't usually say to
Mm.
coworkers, "I missed you." Like, this is really implying a
Oh,
close friendship, and so the more I thought about it, I realized that actually telling someone you missed them is what maybe makes me feel like, I don't know if I would say, "I missed you, man," to very many male friends. It would have to be a very close personal relationship, and at least in the US, married women often don't have that close of male friends with that, you keep it a little more hands
mhm.
off sometimes.
That's true. Absolutely. Yeah.
Not hands
I
off,
agree.
arm's length is what I meant. Definitely hands off as
Hands
well,
up.
but you keep people more at arm's length.
Okay, I love it. We're going for fun little puns here today. I like it. Good stuff. So yeah, I agree. I think it's very different. It's another level of intimacy to say, even to a good friend, I miss you, man. I missed you, man, versus, hey man, what's going on? Right? Very
Right.
different. Very different. Just because
Exactly.
of the words you're saying to miss. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
agree. I
interesting,
think
right?
most married females in the States, especially as they get older, may not tend to have very, very close male friends. I think that probably
Right.
is not everyone, but I think that's true. Usually it
Yeah,
would
and
be
that's
like
why,
with
yeah,
a
we were saying
couple.
different people might answer this differently because there
Yeah.
may be, married partners who do maybe they grew up with a male friend or they do have a very close male friend. And so they might say, "I missed you, man." Totally
Mhm.
acceptable. It all depends
Yeah.
on the relationship, your comfort level. Yeah, it might be
Mhm.
different for each person.
Yeah, and the piece about "Hey pal," I guess we didn't quite address that as much, but I when I hear that, I feel like that's often used in a form of kind of aggression in movies. Like, "Hey
Mm.
pal, what are you doing?" Right? From a man to a man usually.
Yes, often that is how we see it. Sometimes I'll see it very lighthearted, like, "Hey, pal, what's up?" Almost
Right.
jokingly, right?
Or that
But
way.
it's more rare. I'll definitely hear, "Hey, man." Guys say to other guys, he is exactly right, I hear this all the time. Guys
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, man, I missed you, man," to another male
Mhm.
friend. It's very common.
Yeah. I have a close male friend, very close. I mean, he was in my wedding. And I do sometimes say to him, "Hey man,"
Mhm.
right? Because we're kind of buddy buddy. going out for a drink together or something. But I don't think I would even say I missed you, man. I think it's too close. I also
It's the
think it
missed
kind
you, right? Because I have a couple of male friends, very close neighbors, friends, and I will say,
Mhm.
"Hey, man." We'll go out to play pickleball. "Hey, man, how's it going?" No problem. But I don't know
Yeah.
that I would say to any of them, "I missed you, man." That would be
Well
strange to
well,
me.
I
It's
also
so
even wonder
familiar.
if a man would say that to him. I think, when you think about men not always being super comfortable with friendships with other men,
Mm.
sometimes in certain generations, maybe older generations, I don't even know. I'm not saying broadly, I'm
Not
just
as
saying
often,
maybe.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Maybe a man would say this to a brother or a very close male friend if so they had gone on a trip, they haven't seen them in a couple of years, and they meet up.
Mhm.
"I missed you, man. It's been a long
Yeah, for
time."
sure. Yeah,
Maybe,
I think
right?
you would hear it. Yeah, for sure. I think some of this also might depend sometimes on kind of not just the gender identity, but kind of like the mood and personality of the woman speaking that, right? Like
Yes,
how do they see themselves? That might be the variation there as well. So it's about how they see themselves to the level to which they use man, not just about the relationship. If that makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there are other options that have very subtle different nuances, right? If you just
Mhm.
say to a person like, "I missed you," or their name like, "I missed you,
Mhm.
Mark. How have you been?" There is
Mhm.
this it's very subtle, but it's a little bit less familiar when you're
Oh,
not
yeah.
saying man, when you're just using their name.
It's really complicated, actually.
Interesting.
So, think about your own kind of gender identity or how you feel inside, I guess, right? And then think about your level of closeness with the man, and then think about what exactly are you saying to them? Are you saying something very intimate, like "I missed you," or are you just saying, "Hey, man, let's get a drink next weekend," right?
Right. Exactly. There's a lot to think about when you're saying this. And I think it is good to point out that if you are in a group, and I can really only speak for US culture, but if you
Yeah.
were to say, like, "I missed you, man," to someone in a group, they likely are not going to be, they're not going to be thinking, like, "Oh, that's so weird. She called me man." It
Mhm.
might feel a little to them like, more familiar than they would expect from you, but it's
Mhm.
not going to create like an awkward public scene, right? This is very subtle,
Yeah, and I would also say that man to man, when men are talking to men, and you've seen this in movies too, you don't have to have that level of closeness at all. You could be a
right?
complete stranger. I'm not sure if we mentioned this yet, but like,
Good
"Hey,
point.
man, what are you doing? Looking at my girlfriend," or something, right?
Or someone introduces you, "Justin,
Yeah.
this is
"Hey,
Mark. Hey,
man."
man, nice to meet you."
Yes.
Totally.
Yes.
It has
And
nothing to do with familiarity when it's guys, it's just how they talk to each other.
right, it's kind of
So interesting.
interesting on the other side, Aubrey, that we don't really have as women, like woman to woman, we don't really have something like that.
It's
We don't
true.
I
Some
we
people will say girl, "Hey, girl," but I don't
right,
like that. I don't
but
say it. No
that's
judgment against everyone that's like, "Hey, girl, what's up?"
You
It's
know
just
what? It
not
makes me
me.
think, oh my gosh, I just saw a movie. What movie was it where someone the per what it must have been just a rom-com where, there was a character that every time this main character interacted with this woman, I think she was a coworker, all she said was, "Hey, girl," and then started talking like, every time it was hilarious. It was a meme on that
That's a
phrase.
really
So,
funny. You're
yeah,
like,
it
"Couldn't
was
be me.
so
Couldn't be me."
funny. Oh my god, it was hilarious. So, yeah, I think "Hey, girl" kinda puts you in a bit of a box when you use it, and yeah, we can go into that
Well,
another
and
day.
I feel like that was more maybe 10 years ago, a little more common,
Yeah.
right? "Hey, girl,"
Yes.
and then we've just have sort of moved away from it. I don't know if it became sort of cliché, a little bit
Yes.
cheesy,
And
so
I think
it's
that's why it was
phased
so
out a
funny
little
in
bit,
the
I
movie.
think.
And, for sure, and we
You
don't
hear it in
say
older movies, right?
I mean, you hear people saying, "Hey, lady," now, but that's also kind of maybe phasing out a little bit, or it's kind of intimate. I guess we have that, but we don't have anything quite as broad as "Hey,
Right.
man," that
Yeah.
encapsulates many situations,
It's
which is
strange. I
interesting.
sometimes will say,
Yeah.
"Hey, friend. Hey, friend. How's it going?" But this is
Yeah.
also, like, being playful intentionally, right? It's not something I would say
Right.
all the time.
I think we should come back to that to be a counter to this episode,
Love it.
another
Yes.
day.
Let's do a quick
Yeah.
role play so you can see how this would work
Yeah.
in a conversation. I think all of these different options with telling
Mhm.
someone or a group that you miss them. So you have
Okay.
returned from studying abroad in this role play and you're meeting up with me and some other friends.
All right. Hey, guys, I missed everyone.
Welcome back. We missed you.
Oh, it's so good to be back, but I miss the beach.
Oh, were you living close to the beach?
Yes, I was walking distance to the beach. It was amazing. Nice.
Nice. Yeah, so
Okay.
I kind of loved this. As I was writing it, I was thinking, what would I actually say? And if a
Right.
friend comes back and they're like, "Hey, I missed all of you. I missed everyone." I wouldn't say, "I missed you too." I would speak for the
Mm.
group and say, "We missed you."
Right. Right. That's a good, important nuance there,
Right.
right? If someone is addressing the group, you're in the group, you wouldn't say, "I missed you too."
That would
"We
be
missed
strange. "I
you."
missed you." Like, what?
Right. It makes it way too intimate
Right.
immediately. It totally changes the frame of what you're saying, right?
Exactly. So interesting.
Mm. And then I said, "It's so good to be back, but I miss the beach." Now I'm just talking about missing something.
Yeah, I wanted to
You
add this, right? Because actually, this is when I use miss the most often. I rarely tell a
Mm.
person that I miss them. Maybe my
Right, right.
kids when they get home from school, right? But I will
Yeah.
often talk about missing the beach, missing
Mm.
vacations, right? This is when we really use miss a ton.
For sure, for sure. I love that. Okay. All right, what's the takeaway for today? I feel like we kind of got to the bottom of a few things, and we opened up a lot of questions here. A lot of reflection
Yes.
our listeners could do.
A
Think about
lot of
who
reflection. It made me do a
Yeah.
lot of reflection, and I have a feeling
Mhm.
you guys are too. I think this is probably very different in each culture. So think about
Mhm.
what is this like in your culture or with your friends or depending on how familiar you are. I'm so grateful to Ahi for bringing this up so we could chat about it because this is tricky. It's important to be aware of phrases and greetings that are extremely familiar so that you have a better idea of how you should greet others or whether or not you should tell them you miss them.
Yeah, I love it, guys. If you love this level of nuance that you want to see with the English language, if you're ready for it, this is what we do here on this show. We go really deep into connection. So go ahead and hit that follow button on All Ears English, and we'll see you in the next episode. All right, Aubrey, good stuff. Thanks
Yes,
for coming on
awesome.
today. All
Thanks,
right,
Lindsay.
talk soon. Bye.
Bye.